All right, I could listen to that one all day. That is such a cool track. But I had to stop it at the Mr. Bungle moment. But
Fair.
yeah, I just wanted to give people a sample of that's the first track from the brand new album Beyond the Veil by iNFiNiEN, and we are lucky to have the whole band with us today. So hello everyone in iNFiNiEN.
Hello.
Hello.
Going. Hello.
Right on. So iNFiNiEN is I hate to use the word prog because who knows what that means, but they are a progressive rock and jazz and everything kind of band out of Philadelphia. They play a lot of prog festivals, and this new album is super cool. And if you don't remember, I did interview them about 5 years ago because the first track on their previous album, I probably listened to it 200 times, and I think Jordan said, "Yeah, I saw the stream counts on Bandcamp go way up." That was almost entirely me. Anyway, so thank you guys for joining, and Chrissy, tell us about this new album, Beyond the Veil.
Ooh. Well, let's see. It was we had actually written this album a long time ago, but our previous album took a long time to come out. So this one we kind of took a different approach, and we did a lot of it ourselves, which was as we will be doing in the future. So we learned a lot of important lessons with this one. But the music is, I would say it's, in my opinion, it's my favorite that we've done, which makes sense because now we've been a band like almost 20 years. So it makes sense that we would be becoming more unified. And we found kind of our voice. So interesting that it is like kind of related to prog music because it wasn't really intentional. It's just kind of our music, and then people who like prog music like it. But we definitely always want to keep true to our odd times and our kind of our own take on exotic scales and harmonies, and that's, so this is kind of a culmination of everything we've been doing, and it's 8 tracks.
And
I
Jordan
can
has
pass it off there.
well, Jordan's got a physical copy of the vinyl. I thought he could show it
Yes,
off
I
a little.
do. Yes, I do.
Walk us through it.
Sure. The front cover is a photograph by our good friend John Singletary. Actually, a photograph. It looks, very computerized, but it is absolutely not. I mean, I'm sure it was touched up on computers at some point, but that's actually a photograph. The beautiful font work was done by an artist named Chippy out of New York that works with a lot of records that come out on John Zorn's label, which Matt works with a lot. The inside cover, which you only get to see if you buy it, I guess until now, is like this. Here, check it out. I have to yell so that the camera sees what I'm doing, just so those at home are aware. Anyway, and this is the back cover. The artwork itself is done by a friend of Chrissy's, or a student of Chrissy's actually, named Deborah Caiola. I believe is that the right pronunciation, Chrissy?
I think she's Kaola, but yeah.
Oh, Caiola. Sorry. I was close.
Yeah.
Wonderful artwork. So like the marriage of all 3 of those artists, we ended up with, just fantastic album art. I love it. Yeah.
It's really beautiful, and I want to just encourage everyone, if you are watching this live on Saturday, February 25th, please ask questions in the chat. We do have a few people here, a couple of people who are definitely fans, which is awesome. Greg Hesselton has been commenting. He says, "The new stuff is incredible. Your blend of heavy and beautiful is superb." And actually, I have to say, one of my favorite things about iNFiNiEN is your personality. Just, you guys love your music, and even though nobody else could see you headbanging to what we were listening to earlier, you guys were all into it, and I just love how much you enjoy your music. I think it's a really refreshing and wonderful thing. So, Tom, I feel like you are very enthusiastic about iNFiNiEN, and I love that about you. Why don't you tell us, what excites you about this record and what might people love to hear in it?
Hello, everyone. I didn't get to check, but everyone can hear.
Yeah,
I can
you're
hear
good.
you guys not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I'm the drummer of the band. So like every drummer, I'm very excited at all times. And I missed the question because of the audio. Actually,
Oh, no problem. So tell us what excites you about this album, and what do you think listeners should pay attention to, and maybe lead into the next track we're going to listen to, which is I believe it's Gratitude.
So Gratitude, that's actually my favorite song from this album. Probably because of the emotion, I guess. I feel like this album is maybe our most emotional album. That may be due to kind of like the holdup we went through with the previous album. So I guess there's like a lot of angst and kind of darker kind of moods and modes. But this album is exciting. I feel like we thrashed pretty hard. This album, in contrast to the previous album, is it's not to a click. And as Chrissy said, we did it our way on our own terms. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, so this one's live in a sense. It's it's not on a grid and it's not overproduced. It's really heartfelt, deep, and a lot of the songs were pretty much one take, and that was it. And we got to spend time as a band, kind of being the overseers of the outcome. So that was a pretty enjoyable process. And I think with this album, two other exciting things is the element of like harmonized vocals that we did, which we didn't do with any previous albums. So that's a real treat. I mean, I'm not trying to be biased, but I feel Chrissy is the greatest singer of all time, male or female. And to hear her, stacked like 3 times, 4 times is pretty exciting.
I don't know if I agree about greatest singer of all time. No offense, Chrissy. I just haven't thought about it. But I do want to say, as I was listening to the album this weekend and even this morning prepping for this interview, I loved hearing her voice layered, and I was very excited at that difference between the previous album, which I listened to a lot, and this album. It's definitely darker. The energy is definitely different. And there's a song, I don't remember which one, I think it was Ascent. There's like a slow climb in tempo, and I was really happy to feel like, oh, this is like they're playing together. This isn't to a click. And it's refreshing. I just feel like you guys do a lot of refreshing things that are just, we are a band, we play together, we don't live on a computer, and what you hear is what you get live too. So I really enjoy a lot of those aspects about your music. All right.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. You can.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's our aim. We try to be organic. And all the fresh things that happen, just happens organically from trying to play as much as we can together.
Yeah. And there's a band called Raise the Maze, formerly known as.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, Tariq did the artwork for the last record.
That's right. And they're fantastic. And Tariq's wife, she's a fantastic singer. And I just love that there's more female voices coming up in, quote, progressive music. I think it's wonderful. And I just made a best of 2022 video that'll release hopefully this week. And more than half of it is female artists, and it wasn't on purpose. I'm not trying to do some sort of diversity and inclusion effort here. I think there's just a lot more women doing a lot of great new music, and that's rising to the top, as it should. It's wonderful.
No doubt.
100%.
Cool. All right, so let's take a listen to the first half of the track Gratitude. It is track number 7, and your vinyl, it's two discs, right? Or is it 1?
Yeah,
That's right, 2, 4 and 4.
Okay, awesome. So let's check out Gratitude. I think this is a really cool track. All right, more awesomeness. What a great track. Super, super cool. Matt, we haven't heard from you, but you've done a ton of great stuff in the past year with John Zorn, and I wanted to highlight some of that because I think our audience would really appreciate how involved you are with the sort of avant-garde music scene, and I'd like to hear how you bring some of that into iNFiNiEN.
Sure. Well, I mean, iNFiNiEN was a band that I was trying to have as an outlet for that before I met any of these people. So I was started out in 2004, coming off like a Warped Tour with my metal band and being completely disillusioned with music and not wanting to do a band. And I remember just like the jams, the sort of proto jams that would happen in this kind of communal house I was living in at the time, and Chrissy lived there too, and we would just sort of jam without an agenda. It was like very exploratory, and it honestly scared me because it was a lot of jazz language. And the first bass player, Justin Carney, really had a concept with iNFiNiEN where it was like six note chords and polyrhythms, and just that is like a root concept is so broad. And then we kind of started to get into all these kinds of music. And I think I just kind of became a type of musician from playing iNFiNiEN music. And it was like I was listening to certain Zorn albums and Mr. Bungle, and mainly like the crew from Bay Area in the early 2000s, the Mimicry crew, that just blew my mind because they answered to no one. And they're like out producing major labels with no help, and then going on 6-week tours. And being like they're those bands like Sleepy Time, Secret Chiefs, The Stratosphere, like were like top music at that time. And like everything in rock was so dumb in a way. You know what I mean? I was so sick of it. It was such like posturing, fashion bullshit. And here's these guys, they're doing it themselves, and it's real music. It's for sincere reasons. And I think it was like the absence of sincerity that I found like so horrifying. So when you found the sincere artists, it was like, okay, this is an answer. This is a sort of answer. And I know I'm like going back to before when I met the avant-garde musicians, but I think that without iNFiNiEN, I wouldn't have become the artist that I became, that like was able to interact in that world. And so when I met Zorn, I'd already like been a fan of his for 10 years, and I would jam on Masada songs all the time. So he didn't have to explain anything to me, and it was just easy. And like lately, like I've done a lot with Zorna, but I've also done like I did 4 free jazz albums this year with like Ivo Perlman and Dave Stillson and just some of these old school New York guys. And it's such a thrill because I'll just be like, "Hello, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Matt." And then we make a 55-minute album, and it's just like we're just bonded like immediately. We never even talk to each other. It's just kind of incredible. So I've been like getting a thrill of that. But I think it's like the avant-garde scene in general. What I really like about it is you would think it would be kind of competitive and people would be really pretentious, and like I was the best in school, and I know the music, I know the innermost music secrets, I'm the best. And it's like it's really not like that. It's like a lot of people playing really crazy music, all like going to each other's gigs and supporting each other. It's a real community, and that's what I try to take away from it. So when I come back to iNFiNiEN after being in that world, of course, I have new rhythmic and compositional and improvisational concepts, but beyond that, it's more the idea of like transcend the individual, like transcend the ego, like serve something greater than yourself. Like do not come into music like I'm the man, like that's clown shit. You know what I mean? Like an adult, like we do things together. We uplift music as a continuum. Like it's everyone pushing music up together. That's something Zorn taught me that I really took to heart, because I realized what I liked about it was there was no agenda of personal aggrandizement. It was literally for itself. You know what I mean? Whereas like coming off Warped Tour to see people like work on their haircut for 3 hours and talking about being a rock star at lunch and well, we gotta get this manager, gotta scheme, bro, gotta scheme. And it's like, this isn't music, man. Fuck this. You know, so it's just a progression. I mean, it was a long-winded explanation, but we're talking about 18 years right now. You know what I mean?
I think it's great. It's a great explanation. Thank you for for going there, because really that's what this channel is about. As soon as I meet anyone with an ego, I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to talk to you. So
Yeah, totally.
I don't have time for ego. And, you know, this is to shine a light on good stuff with good people. It's not about good music by people who are jerks. You know, we don't need to, they get enough of their own promotion.
And the jerks, if I could just say, the jerks don't get a community.
Right.
They isolate themselves and no one cares.
That's right.
And the people that are cool get a community. So there's a big difference there.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And it looks like you have a lot of longtime fans too, and some new ones, which is great because you guys have been opening for Stickmen and playing a bunch of shows recently. We got a question, Matt. This is from Luis Sid. He's in Mexico. He said, I saw you once uploaded a video practicing with Mick Barr. Any chance we'll ever see a collab between you two?
Well, maybe. Yeah, we get along really well. Like, I don't know. I just never asked him.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, I really like playing bass six with guitarists. It's really hard for me to play guitar with guitarists.
Yeah.
I know that's a strange thing to say, but when a guitarist is like, let's jam, I bring a bass six.
Yeah.
I don't bring a guitar. It's just like I'm not used to sharing the space.
Yeah. Cool. And then two new fans, Greg Hesselton and Jedak, are both asking the same question, and I'll throw this one to Jordan. Who are some artists or genres that influence your sound? Not necessarily artists you share a sound with. I know we covered some of this in our last interview, but for people who are just discovering, you know, I think it would be great. And Jedak says, your music has such a very broad, rich, and eclectic palette of styles. So what do you see as your primary influences?
Okay, that's neat. That's a good one, and also, you know, one that we have answered in the past. But the classic examples, like if you looked back at our old MySpace page, they would have said Radiohead for sure, Bjork. I know Chrissy went through a big Tori Amos period, you know, and that's pretty obvious there. Tom is very influenced by hip hop and you know, MCs and rhyming, rapping. And he brought a lot of that stuff. Like whenever we would be on tour, you know, 08, 09, 2010, or I used to call it 010, 011, we would the music we would end up listening to would be just all over the map. So that's kind of what's interesting about us. I myself, my favorite bands before I met iNFiNiEN were I'm huge. I was a huge Fish was a huge influence on me. There's no hiding that. And I love how people think that Matt is influenced by Trey, and I'm like, well, I'm the only one who ever played that music for Matt, so I don't think that's true. I was also way into the Mars Volta, which, you know, that's a clear track to where, you know, some of the stuff that we ended up getting into. I joined the band in 2007, August of 2007. They had been around for 2.5 years or so previous. I knew the previous bass player, Justin Carney. We were actually at the same school, same teachers. And, you know, we didn't hang like all that often because bass players don't often hang, but he did recommend me as one of, you know, a few possible candidates to join them. At the time, I was also really into Talking Heads a lot. So, you know, on a few of those hangs, I definitely played some of that. And also Chick Corea, Return to Forever. There was an album, actually the one that's called, I believe, Light as a Feather. I remember I played that a lot when we were rehearsing. You know, there's a female vocalist on that, and with electronic keyboards and great bass playing and great, you know, harmonic work, you know.
If I could just,
sorry, I'm rambling.
if I could I just
go for it? Go for it.
Well, okay, so like those are definitely proto influences, but on the last two albums, Tool and Bjork are not an influence. I'm sorry, they are.
Oh, I don't
Like
think he said
that's like right at the beginning, okay? But the last two albums are mainly influenced by those Bay Area, at least from my what I'm bringing to the table. It's the Bay Area crew, the Mimicry crew, Mr. Bungledorn, and like folk music from around the world, like Farmers Market, master musicians at Jajuka, like anything from Mali, any Ethiopiques, all of the Ethiopics. So
Indian
like that's where
classical
we're coming
music.
from on the last two albums. We're not trying to do a Tool thing.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah,
trying to do your thing. No, I understand. I'm just trying to distinguish proto influence like from like right when we started from like where we ended up. And I think it's kind of interesting actually, because that makes sense as a starting point, but that's not why the last two records happened, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Can
agree.
I add a little? I would also even
Totally,
say,
totally.
from my perspective, I mean, you Alice Coltrane, Esperanza Spalding. She's one of my favorites.
She's unbelievable.
She's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Esperanza, if you're out there.
12 Little
Yeah, I
Spells
thought
like blew my mind. Incredible
Oh.
album. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right,
Yeah, I
so
thought
we got to wrap up real soon. I'm sorry to cut you guys off, but like, we have Sharon Baker, who's our moderator. Sharon, thank you so much for all of your help. And she actually used to run sound for Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum.
Wow, incredible. We'll
Yeah.
tell her that's amazing.
She is awesome. People want some gear rundowns. Maybe you guys could post some stuff on social or do
Gear
a follow-up
rundowns.
video or something on answering some of these questions in here. But yeah, people really love this new album, and I want to issue my own correction. I mentioned that Greg Hesselton is a new time fan, but he's not. He's been a fan since 2005. He's followed you guys
Wow.
a long time.
Wow, thanks, Greg.
That's what's pretty cool about doing a band for a long time.
Yeah.
Is like to meet these people from the beginning.
Right.
No one knew about it back then. Like that's really crazy.
Yeah, seriously. You got a lot of fans in the New England area, getting Rhode Island, Baltimore, a lot of people here.
That's good to know.
which
We
is
don't
great.
go up there very often.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Tom, tell us what you can buy and where you can buy it to support iNFiNiEN.
Oh, geez. Okay. So I think right now, at bandcamp.com, I think we have t-shirts, like five different styles. And then we have our catalog of compact discs and vinyl, as well as MP3 downloading, and then you can stream all our music on Spotify, Amazon, all that other stuff.
Somebody mentioned there's a limited edition version of the vinyl, a smoky vinyl.
Yes, I'm holding that right here. I got to show you the smoky vinyl since you brought it up. I mean,
Please
geez,
do.
sure do.
We're here to sell.
Easy enough. Well, I'm not trying to I'm just trying to show people what we did. Quite frankly,
I'm trying to
like-
sell. I want people to buy your music.
Okay, well that's on you. But no, I mean honestly, like I don't have too many like huge aspirations as a musician aside from just being a musician and playing music. But one of the biggest things I wanted to do ever since I was a teenager was to make a record, like a vinyl record. And it was not popular at the time at all. Like they had all but disappeared. And like right as I got into that sound, it was like they were almost impossible to find. And none of the new bands I was listening to were making them. So the new wave of it has just been a godsend for me. And it made it possible for us to even think about making these. And geez, I mean, there's no replacing like a thick like piece of art like that. I'm thrilled that it exists in this world. I'm just like, love it. So yeah, that's all that stuff is on our Bandcamp. That's the best way to support us. This coming Friday is the next Bandcamp Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is good for everybody. So support everybody.
All right, cool.
And I just want to say too, like a lot of people have asked about CDs for Beyond the Veil. We're talking about doing it now, so it's looking pretty likely. So if you guys could just be patient, it will
Stay
happen
tuned.
eventually. Yeah.
Right on. And thank you to everyone who joined us on the live stream and anyone who's watching after we're done. Really appreciate people supporting iNFiNiEN. You can follow them. Their social is at iNFiNiEN, and then you can go to this Bandcamp URL in the corner and get everything that Tom was sharing. And again, want to thank Sharon for her moderation help on the live stream. And for anyone who's interested, we have a thing called Club Weird. It's $3 a month. It just helps keep the site going. I've been doing it almost 10 years, and then, since costs add up, and it's like $150 a month for me to pay for everything. So any $3, supporters can help pay for web hosting and that kind of thing. So I really appreciate it. And on Monday, we have another live stream with a really, really talented guitarist out of Brooklyn. I want to make sure I get his name correct.
Matt Hollenberg.
His name is Shub Saran, Shubhsaran.
Oh yeah, I know him. I know him.
What a great musician, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll check him out.
Yeah, he's from India. He's played all over the world. He incorporates all these influences into like modern jazz, kind of like Avishai Cohen. You hear it and it sounds Middle Eastern. With Shub's music, you hear all of these world influences, except it's jazz. It's not like jazz trying to sound like something else. It just is jazz that does sound like something else. It's so low key and easy going. I love it. That's happening Monday.
Incredible.
I haven't posted anything about it yet. Sorry, Sharon. But anyway, Club Weird, hit the join button below. It's $3 a month. Go to iNFiNiEN.bandcamp.com. Follow iNFiNiEN on social media and support good music made by good people. We are going to wrap up with the final track from Beyond the Veil, and it's called Prayer. So thanks to all the iNFiNiEN people here. I really appreciate you guys spending some Saturday time with me.
Anthony, thanks so much for having us on, man. This is great.
Of course.
It was great to be here.
Thanks for doing Make Weird Music.
Right on. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Chrissy.
Supporting
Thanks for all you do for the community. It's great.
Of course. All right, here we go. Let's listen to Prayer.